When you're both a camper and a camp chef, this RV kitchen is exactly what you need. So let's get cooking in the Longitude 230FK. A front kitchen is something we don't see a ton in a travel trailer, but it is a design I really like because the whole front end here is going to be focused around that kitchen. It gives you great space to be able to cook, prep, do dishes, everything you need to do, and you're not going to impede anyone kind of in the entertainment space. So I really like having it tucked up front. Another thing I really enjoy that Longitude did very well is give you a lot of windows. You have the big front windshield, you have a side window and the window on the door, all letting in natural light, which is great whenever we're cooking. Again, good prep space is a must. We have that on both sides of the sink. It is a thermoformed pressed countertop, which allows us to undermount the large stainless steel bowl. You'll see it also does come with the cutting board, high-rise pull-down faucet here, and over to this side is our glass rinser. This is another feature I really like. If you're like me and you like entertaining, anytime you make any cocktails, it's nice just to be able to rinse them out, especially if you're going to refill, do something else. I really enjoy that. It's a small addition that I think is a big addition. And then right here is going to be your 3-burner recessed cooktop with the glass cover. This, of course, just folds up and back like so. Underneath, in lieu of an oven, is just going to be a microwave. But the nice thing about putting it down there is it allows for more storage up top. And speaking of more storage and more space, we have 81-inch ceiling height. And it's not a barreled ceiling, meaning that you have 81 inches in the center and 81 inches all the way out to the side. So that does a few things for us. It allows for more storage because we have more headroom. It also allows for bigger slide boxes here, which we'll see in just a moment. So again, that storage all the way across the top here, storage along this side, and great storage along the bottom. One of the things I really do like is when manufacturers leave enough room for a trash can, and they did that here in the Longitude. Very smart move. Something else that's minor, but I also really like is when they put coat hooks in. You know, I don't always go camping in colder seasons, but it's nice to have a rain jacket or sometimes, maybe just like a sweatshirt or again, just a light jacket, and I want a place to be able to put it. I love that they put that there. We talked about taller slide boxes. You get 70-inch slide boxes in here. So again, a little bit bigger than what you find in most travel trailers. And then this is just the perfect seat. I mean, it's theater seats. This kicks back and relax. And personally, I really like this pattern. It is going to be like a synthetic leatherette, but it looks like cloth, which I kind of still enjoy because that way it's easy to clean if kiddos come and they spill anything on it, grandkids, whatever. But it just has that really nice look to it. You'll see a little bit of hidden storage right here in the center, some cup holders. More hidden storage right over to the side. I kind of like that. This will, I am told, fit the table leg. So if you want to take the table leg out, you can put it right in here. The table itself will actually slide right behind the theater seats. And then over to the side, take a look at this. You need a little power, need to plug in your phone, something like that. You have the ability to do so right there. I also do want to talk about the fact that this is a fully laminated slide box. This whole thing is fully laminated with 2-inch sidewalls, which is part of what allows you to camp a little bit later into the season. Better insulation value because a lot of the competitors in this space will have 1.5-inch walls. And then kind of rounding out the kitchen, right, is over on the other side of the door, and that's going to be our 12-volt compressor-driven fridge freezer here. Great space up top. Nice big freezer drawer right down below, so plenty of cold storage in this coach. And over to this side, you get some additional pantry space. Unless you're a big movie buff, maybe you have a bunch of movies in there. Who knows? Because you have this excellent entertainment center right here. This is on a swing arm mount, so you can swing it over, be able to have a little bit better view from the seating. A couple things I really like they did here as well. One, up top with this box. I think this, Aaron and I were talking about it here, and I think this is great cable management. The way they just kind of were able to tuck everything away. You need to bring anything up in here, they already give you, kind of the tube here to be able to bring cables up and in so they're not just sloppy. Again, I think they did an excellent job. They did a good job finishing that off rather than just having it like try to tuck it behind the TV or something like that. You will also see that you have the sound bar for a little bit better sound quality. And when I first got in, I initially asked what this was. I'm like, am I supposed to put a picture there? I'm very confused. Like, it has like a small mantle. What is this? And what I had found out is this right here actually is meant to have a net. They don't have the net in yet. They have to order it, but this will have a net right here. And it's supposed to be for components. So if you have a PlayStation 5, if you have a new Xbox, or even a Blu-ray player, you can put that in there, be able to set it upright, and be able to watch movies, play games, whatever you want to do. So pretty cool addition we don't see on a lot of RVs. Then underneath that is going to be fireplace. That is also a 5,000 BTU heater, just to help take the chill off in this space. If you take a look at the bathroom, you have pretty good space. I am touching the wall a little bit on the right side, but I still have more than enough room here. Excellent leg room as well. It is a plastic bowl, but that's something you can change out in the future if you so choose. Right behind me, you will see there is good linen storage. This is a nice wide linen closet. A lot of times in a bathroom, especially like in a travel trailer, when you get a linen closet, it's like half this size. This one is going to be super usable. You can actually fold your towels instead of having to roll them. And then if we take a step in the neo-angle shower, because of that 81-inch ceiling height, I don't even need a skylight, but there is one in here, meaning I could probably be 6'3", maybe even 6'4", and not have to bend down in here, which is awesome. Also, because it's neo-angle, you can actually turn around in this without having any issues. The sink is nice and big as well. I personally like a big sink in an RV just because, when you're brushing your teeth, things like that, washing hands, doesn't make near as much of a mess. You have a big medicine cabinet above that, storage down below, and when you are in the shower, you'll essentially have nearly limitless hot water because this one has an on-demand water heater. Then as we make our way into the bedroom, you will see the queen bed here in the center. I think they did a pretty good job with the sides. You have a nice deep wardrobe space, and then in the back, you actually have shelves with electrical outlets, so if you need to charge cell phones or CPAP machines, they can tuck right away in there. You're not gonna have to worry about shelves hanging out that you're gonna bump and you sit up in the middle of the night or anything like that. You'll also see storage up top, but my favorite is actually gonna be the storage solutions under the bed. Because what they've done is they have this big sliding drawer in here, and I think that's pretty darn smart. And as you can see, if you want, you can store the table that goes out for the theater seats right here underneath the bed. But there's also plenty more storage for blankets or whatever else you want to put in there. And while in travel mode or turtle mode or whatever you want to call it with the slide in, if you want to pull over, take a pit stop and grab yourself a sandwich, well, you have full access to the fridge, so by all means do so. However, if you have one too many coffees or waters and you have to use the bathroom, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to in this one. So let's break down the construction of the Longitude 230FK. We're gonna start from the ground and work our way up, starting with the tires. These are gonna be 225 75 R15s. Those are going to be E-range tires. Something I do like about these, however, is they are the Lion's Head program, meaning that for whatever reason, if you blow one out, they will replace it no matter what that is for that specified amount of time. That is that 1-year guarantee. That is awesome. You'll also see that this one has overslung axles on there, so that's going to give you a little more ground clearance because of those leaf springs being over the axle. It's also going to allow the flush floor slides we saw inside. So we take a look at the sidewalls. This one has 6-sided aluminum all the way around, so even the back wall is going to be fully laminated. Also on top of that, something I really like, these are going to be actually 2-inch thick walls, not 1.5 inches that a lot of laminated products are, and you have Asdel both on the exterior and the interior of the RV. That's going to be important for a couple reasons. On the exterior, it's going to help with things like prevent delamination. On the interior, it's going to help prevent things like off-gassing, where when it gets really hot, it starts to smell. You won't get that in this coach. Also, by having it both inside and outside, it's going to help lighten up this RV. Then as we make our way up to the roof, you have a 5-inch crowned roof. So even though it's flat on the inside, it's crowned on the outside for water runoff, and this is a Alpha Flex TPO roof membrane, which is 5 times thicker than a lot of the competing products, has great tear resistance, and requires almost zero maintenance. Let's talk about the features on the outside of the Longitude 230FK, starting with the power tongue jack. This makes it a lot easier to connect and disconnect from your tow vehicle. You have the light on there. Obviously it is nice and easy to use. That way you don't have to manually crank it up and down. It saves a little bit of time and energy. Behind that are your 2 20-pound propane cylinders with the cover rails there for your battery. What you will notice is it is built for dual batteries straight out of the manufacturer. Big fan of that. You will also see that you have the diamond plating coming up the front, helping to protect that front end from any rocks and debris that may get thrown up by your tow vehicle. And of course, the gorgeous front windshield here on the front of the Longitude. Love, love, love that with the smooth aluminum front. Coming around to the side, as I mentioned earlier, this is going to be all Azdel composite here behind that fiberglass skin. Definitely a big fan of that in the place of Luan. The baggage doors, any place you see a baggage door, you will see a slam latch with metal components, works really well, and it has a magnetic catch. You'll also notice the height of this baggage door. They're able to give you this height because they utilize drop frame construction. So you have the main I-beam running through, and then they take a little bit smaller I-beam and run it up front. And it still gives you the great structural integrity that you need in the coach, but also gives you more storage. It costs a little bit more, but it's definitely worth it for the storage in my opinion. You know, something else I really like they added this year is you will see the awning control is actually right here. So yes, it is inside as well, but if you're in a little bit tighter campsite and you don't have someone else to help spot, it can be really nice just stand out here and open and close it, or even if you're just out sitting and relaxing, that way you don't have to go all the way back in. Your entrance will be located right here. The MORryde step above step system, super solid aluminum treads, so they aren't going to rust. Large foldable grab handle makes it easier to go in and out of the coach. And as I talked about when we were in the kitchen earlier, they did put a window in the door. Once again, that costs a little bit more to do so, but the addition of the light is 100% worth that. You can see the large power awning spanning almost the entire length of this coach with an LED light on there. Love that. Gives you great usable camp space right here because you don't have that slide. You will also see that you have like a leash latch, so if you have you know, a little furry buddy, a dog or cat you're going to bring with you, want to hook them up, you can do that. And it has a built-in bottle opener, which for someone like me will probably get a lot of use. You can see outside TV connections, a place to mount it right here, as well as the black tank flush, so that way if you need to wash out your black tank, that is pretty easy to access there. And again, just having that black tank flush rather than sticking a hose down your toilet is definitely a win. And then coming down a little bit further, this is going to be your tankless water heater we talked about in the shower. Some additional outside water access. This is only going to be cold, not hot. And then we get into kind of the outside camp chef area, so to speak, right? You can see that right here we have our fridge, you have the water access there, and in the back is a propane quick connect. So if you want to be able to do some cooking out here on like a Blackstone or Coleman grill, you can do that. Another thing I do want to point out, talked about earlier, we talked about those baggage doors. Again, as I mentioned, you have slam latch baggage doors even on these back compartments, which folks, they just shut easier, they lock better, just an overall better system. I also like this is just a big storage area, right? They didn't take this up with a bunch of stuff you don't necessarily need. They gave you all this extra space. There's an electrical outlet in there, so you can utilize that for all sorts of different things. I think that was smart design. Square tubular bumper on the back. Mounted to that is the spare tire, which makes it the absolute easiest place to get it rather than having to mount it underneath. If we take a look up top, you'll see a couple different preps. You'll see the ladder prep right here next to me, so you can climb up onto that fully walkable roof. And then over beyond a little bit, you can see the rear camera prep. This one does have the 50 amp detachable power cord on here, 50 amp, because it is going to have that fireplace as well as the AC. Might be prepped for a second. I will have to double check that. But having the 50 amp service would definitely allow for that. You can also see your termination will be located right back here. That will be one of two, as your second one will be located right up here. And the last thing I want to show you is going to be right in here, which is your essentially like your convenience center, right? You have your battery disconnect, outside shower. You can see this one does come with a 100-watt solar panel as well as the charge controller right here. And just like we had the awning on the other side, they also added the addition of having your slide room for the exact same reason. You can sit out here, make sure it's not going to hit anything, and then naturally your water connections will be down there too. Now, if you love the excellent construction, big windows, and overall design of the Longitude, but you're looking for something a little bit bigger with some more space, then check out this 310RL I have coming up next.